Burlap. Burlap was in the doghouse. Grandma Davis said that was the place for him. She had thought that Burlap would keep rabbits out of the garden, but as a rabbit scare, Burlap just wasn't any good. Woodpeckers bothered him more, hammering away on the roof of his house and waking him up. Burlap rather liked rabbits. He wished they would stay and play. He tried not to scare them away, frisky little fellows. Then Dick arrived from the city to spend the summer with his grandmother. She showed him all over the farm. When he met Burlap, it was love at first sight. "I don't think he's so wonderful," said Grandma. "He's not worth his keep, and I don't want him in the house. The cat stays in the house most of the time, and you can play with her, if she'll let you." But the cat didn't want to play. She had more important things to do, or so she thought. But Burlap always loved to get up and go whenever Dick wanted to explore. Dick never knew where Burlap's nose might take them or what might pop out at them. One day Dick and the hired man, Cy, looked over the stone wall into the garden. "What's that?" whispered Dick. "That's no rabbit, it's a woodchuck," whispered Cy. "Get Burlap and I'll get a bag." "I know where that woodchuck lives," Cy told Dick. "What's the bag for?" Dick asked. "You'll see," said Cy. "That's his hole. See, the dog smells him." "What did we do now?" Dick asked. "Send the dog down the hole," Cy answered. "And here's the woodchuck's other hole. They always have two. This is what the bag is for," said Cy. "Gee, Mr. Cy, I hope Burlap doesn't bite him, and I hope the woodchuck doesn't bite Burlap." "Right in the bag," yelled Cy. "But where's Burlap?" cried Dick. "Look, Cy, it's Burlap that's in the bag, and there goes the woodchuck. He must have had 3 holes," muttered Cy. "That hound dog ain't a bit of use," grumbled Cy. "Well, I'm sort of glad the woodchuck got away," said Dick. Another day Dick came rushing to the door of the barn. "Mr. Cy, there's a terrible-looking man in the cornfield. Burlap went for him." Cy was pitching hay. "First rabbits and woodchucks, now tramps. I'll fix him," he said. "Burlap's got him down," cried Dick. "My scarecrow!" roared Cy. "Gee, I thought it was a real man," said Dick, and so did Burlap. "Mrs. Davis," said Cy, "that dog gets uselesser and uselesser. He's no good to anybody, not even himself." "Oh, but he's some good to me, Granny. If you don't want him, may I have him, please?" begged Dick. "Well," said Granny, "I'll ask your mother when I write her if you can take him home with you when you go. If she says yes, I guess we can put up with him until then." After supper one evening, Grandma told Dick to take a basket of jelly doughnuts down the road to Miss Spry. "Yes, you may take Burlap," she told him, "but keep his nose out of the basket." In no time at all, Dick was back. "Grandma, help! Sakes alive, what's happened now?" "A bear, a great big black bear, round the bend when all at once up he came." "What a story," said Grandma. "Why, there hasn't been a bear around here since I was a little girl." Then he gave a big jump right over the wall and grabbed that basket of doughnuts. "You tell it well," said Grandma, "and it's plain something happened to the doughnuts all right." Burlap rushed in, but the bear kicked him away and sat down and started eating those doughnuts. Granny shook her head. "Poor Miss Spry. I just had a feeling she'd never get a taste of those doughnuts." I ran home to get you and Cy to help save Burlap," sobbed Dick. "That bear'll start eating on him as soon as he finishes the doughnuts." Grandma sniffed. "That's nonsense, and enough for one day. It's to bed for you, and we'll tend to Burlap in the morning." "Now, Dick, Burlap can take care of himself. He's probably back in his kennel right now. Anyway, we'll see about him first thing in the morning." Next morning, Grandma was in a bad temper. "Drat that dog. He kept me awake all night with his barking and howling, and he's still at it." But Dick was more cheerful. The bear hadn't eaten Burlap after all. Granny went to the barn in a hurry. "Cy, get a rope," she called. "We're going after that dog." "Granny, you're not going to punish him. After all, Burlap did try to save the doughnuts," Dick begged. "Pish, tush." Granny was in a bad mood. As they went by the mailbox, Granny stopped to get the morning paper, and there was the front page. Granny gasped, and Cy said, "I'll need something besides a rope." "Dick, I guess you and Burlap had yourselves a bear after all," said Granny. And what's more, the circus he escaped from is offering a $50 reward for him. And sure enough, Burlap had the bear treed. Goodness gracious, exclaimed Grandma. I'll get the circus man. They'll want him back alive, said Cy before he hurried off. The bear seemed to be glad to get back to in this cage, and the circus man said, "Thank you all very much. Here's a reward and tickets for the big show, and I especially want the little boy to bring his dog." Cy didn't want to be late for the circus. "If you'd quit hopping up and down, Dick, and let your granny finish tying her tie, we could get going. Guess all this excitement is too much for him," said Granny. "First the circus, and then a letter from his mother this morning saying he can take Burlap home with him." They could see the circus tents ahead, and Cy said, "It was nice of that circus man to give us seats to the show, and box seats, too." Dick just couldn't help boasting. "Don't forget, Mr. Cy, it was my dog Burlap." Grandma sighed. "I do declare we've heard that story 50 times. The circus man was waiting for them at the gate and took them to their box. Cy bought peanuts and Cracker Jack. First came the parade: elephants, camels, wild animals in their red and gold cages, and beautiful ladies on white horses. When the last one had marched out, there was a blast of trumpets and the spotlight hit the box where they sat. Then in walked the funniest-looking clown, leading the bear. Then out stepped the circus man wearing a tall silk hat and carrying a cane. In the loudest voice Dick had ever heard, he said, "Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great privilege and pleasure to present you this afternoon none other than Dick Davis, owner and trainer of that great hound dog, Bring Him Back Alive, Burlap. Boys, stand up and take a bow." Dick stood up, and the crowd cheered, and the band started up with "For He's a Jolly Good Fellow." Then on with the show. It was a perfect afternoon. Then off to the big city and home. The conductor had been firm. "No dogs in the coaches. Dogs go in the baggage car." So Dick said, "Where Burlap goes, I go. And from now on, that's the way it's going to be."